Okay, so it's the start of a new decade. Have you made a New Year's resolution or several for this year? If you haven't, or if it hasn't worked out for you, don't worry, because in this video, hopefully I can help you out. Hey Wisdom Seekers, welcome back to the Wisdom Shack, and today I want to talk to you about goal setting. Now, setting goals is a great thing to do, but I want to share with you today 5 reasons why setting goals may not be working for you. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a tip as to how you can set goals in a way that you may not have considered before. So the first reason goals might not be working for you is simply that you've got too many of them. You can get all enthusiastic when you set them quite often at the beginning of a year or maybe on your birthday, and you say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, this and this. But before long, you find that you just get overwhelmed. You know, if you try and chase 2 rabbits, then you won't catch either of them. You need to focus. You need time to focus to get deep into your goals. You, in theory, could do anything you want to do, but you can't do everything. There just isn't time. So how many do you set? Start with 1 or 2, see how you get on. If you find that you're going on with those okay, you're not overwhelmed, you're making good progress, and you've still got time, then think about setting some more. The second reason goals might not be working for you is simply that they're too big. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, there are some schools of thought that say, dream big, go for huge goals, go for unrealistic, impossible goals. If you go for the moon, shoot for the moon, at least you'll hit the stars. But the problem with that is that often it can have the opposite effect of demotivating you. Thinking, oh, this is just beyond me. It's not something I can do. Sometimes it's better to start smaller with something that's more achievable. And then once you've done that, you can see the next mountain from the peak of the one before. And you're motivated by the fact that you have actually achieved the previous goal. I've fallen into that trap myself. This year in October last year, I set myself the 10-10-20-20 6-figure income challenge, where I was aiming to make at least £100,000 by the 10th of the 10th, 2020. However, it became clear after just a number of weeks that it was going to be a massive, massive target for me to achieve. And so I've downgraded it to a 5-figure challenge because that to me feels more realistic. One good question to ask yourself is, who do you need to be in order to achieve that goal? If you're someone who's already had experience and is already comfortably earning a 5-figure income from being self-employed, then 6 figures is a sensible step to take. But if you haven't even got that far, then it's better to build it up in layers. And then you become the kind of person who can achieve that next goal. So having a goal that is realistic and achievable, but still slightly challenging, I believe that is a better way to go. The third reason why goals might not be working for you is simply that you don't have a big enough why. What do I mean by that? Well, what is it that you are wanting to achieve this goal for? Why this particular goal? What is it that's going to drive you? Because in those times when things get difficult, which they will, during those tough moments when you just don't feel like doing anything towards your goal, it's the why you're doing it that carries you through, that gives you the motivation to carry on and achieve that goal. So if your why isn't big enough, then the chances of you achieving that goal is going to be pretty slim. Now, the fourth reason why goal setting might not be working for you is tied in a little bit with that why. It's the fact that they're not your goals in the first place. What do I mean by that? Well, perhaps your parents want you to go to college or have a safe, secure job, or do this because that's what members of your family do, or friends think you're an absolute nutter for doing it. So even though they're your goals, you're caring about what other people think. And in a way that makes them not your goals, because maybe you want to, it makes you tweak them and think, well, this is what they want me to do, or maybe I should go in slightly a different direction because then they would approve. You're seeking their approval. And when that happens, it lowers the why you're doing it, and it makes the why different because you're now doing it for somebody else. There's nothing wrong with doing things for somebody else. If your goal is to help people, then that's great. But if your goal is simply to do something that's not really in your heart because you want to please other people, or you think that they'll be disappointed if you don't go that way, then you're never going to find true happiness. You're never going to find that goal inspiring or fulfilling. And finally, the fifth reason that goals might not be working for you is simply that they're too damn hard to get started. If you have bitten off more than you can chew, and I don't mean by setting too many goals, it could tie in with having an unrealistic goal. So, for example, I signed up for something called the Movement Athlete this year, which is an app for bodyweight exercise training. And I found the whole thing really complicated to begin with. I was going to the gym and I was trying to do the most basic exercises, and I couldn't even do those because I just wasn't physically ready. I just wasn't capable of doing it. So it's a steep learning curve at the beginning. And that struggle almost put me off. It made me think, well, why am I doing this? So again, it comes back to the why. Sometimes you have to find a way of getting over that initial hurdle, because it's worth doing something badly at first to gain the benefits later on. So you may be giving up too quickly and too easily. So if you set yourself a goal and you're finding it difficult to get started, you're finding even the basics hard, just ask yourself, what's one small step I can take? What's one thing that I can do that will still move me in the right direction? And you'll find that gradually, even if it takes a little while to get to a basic level, you're still going in the right direction. So find out what the first steps are for you and just take the next one. Okay, so here's the tip I promised you with regards to goals. Now, there are two types of goals that complement each other, but I think one is far more effective than the other. Now, there are process goals and there are results goals. I prefer to call them journey goals and destination goals because life is a journey. Most people focus on results goals. In other words, I want to shift 20 pounds in weight by whatever date. Or, for example, with this YouTube channel, my results goal is to produce 104 YouTube videos by the end of this year, 2020. However, my journey goal is to produce 2 videos a week. Now, why is that effective? Well, there are several reasons. The first reason is it keeps you on track and it keeps you accountable. If I just set a goal to make 100 videos in a year, I might not feel like doing it one week and think, oh, it's okay, I've got months, I can catch up. And I've only got to do that a few times, and suddenly I find myself in a position where I've got loads of videos to catch up on. And then my motivation might go. Another reason why I feel journey goals are more effective is because they take your end goal and they force you to put it into manageable chunks. So 104 videos a year sounds a lot. 2 videos a week sounds doable. And the third reason, and probably the most important, the great advantage of a journey goal is that you are building a habit. Why is it important to build habits? Good habits. Well, the reason is it takes something that is not automated and it helps automate it. You get used to doing it. Your subconscious brain takes over a lot of the detail. You do it because it's there to be done. You're not asking yourself whether you feel like doing it. You're just getting on with it and you get used to it. So each time you get used to it, you are overcoming any kind of procrastination. The more regularly you do something, the easier it becomes to do, even if you don't really feel like doing it. You will get used to the process. Your brain will get used to the process, and it just makes your journey easier. And so by the time you get to the end of the year, you're really kind of used to it. And don't be surprised if you try to stop and you began to miss it. I certainly found that with going to the gym last year. I made it a habit to regularly go, and I took a couple of weeks off for Christmas and the New Year, and sure enough, I was missing it. So there are my thoughts and tips about goals. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to comment below. I'd love to know what your goals are for the year or what you liked about this particular video. If you're enjoying this series, please let me know anything else you'd like me to cover. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell so that you're notified of when I do my next videos. I'm aiming to get them out at 6 p.m. UK time every Tuesday and Thursday. So I look forward to seeing you again in the Wisdom Shack very soon. Bye for now.